The Dallas Cowboys have finally finished camp and now starts their 7-week break before training camp officially ramps up in July. But the question until we get there, who are the biggest winners and biggest losers from Cowboys camp over the past few practices? Let's talk about it. The first winner on this list is a player the Cowboys traded for just this offseason, Stephon Gilmore. And according to reports out of Cowboys practices, he has been fantastic. Players inside the locker room are already feeling his presence. Believe it or not, Gilmore is already a 12-year veteran, which means he's going to help out guys like Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Nashawn Wright, Israel Mukuamu, and Jordan Lewis. Having a veteran presence like Gilmore is going to help this team a ton. But his mentoring isn't the only thing. Gilmore has been proving it on the practice field as well. In practice, Gilmore was working against one of the Cowboys wide receivers when he jumped a route and broke up a pass attempt from Dak Prescott in the red zone. So obviously Stephon Gilmore still has gas left in the tank and plenty of knowledge to help this Cowboys cornerback room. The cool thing is he's going to be able to help them on the field this year and hopefully the younger guys down the road. The 1-2 punch of Gilmore and Diggs is going to be so much fun to watch in 2023. But there's a guy he's been facing off with every day of minicamp. And that's another winner from this Cowboys camp, Brandon Cooks. Just like Gilmore, Cooks has gotten praise from all around the building. In his own right, Brandon Cooks is a 9-year veteran with a ton of knowledge of the NFL game. Luckily for the Cowboys, they have young guys that can learn under him as well. Simi Fehoko, Jalen Tolbert, Kavontae Turpin, and a couple of undrafted free agents. When you're looking for reports about Cowboys minicamp and you search in the name Brandon Cooks, there's one thing that consistently pops up, and that's the speed. People around the building can see it clear as day. I know the Cowboys aren't in full pads yet, but Brandon Cooks is going to bring something that the Cowboys lacked in 2022. They're going to have a real burner on the outside. And luckily for the Cowboys, Brandon Cooks has been doing that just about every day of minicamp. The Cowboys really needed an over-the-top wide receiver that can get the job done down the field, and it looks like Cooks is going to bring just that. So that's our first two winners, Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. Two guys that the Cowboys traded for this offseason. But a homegrown guy that is just in his second year is another winner on this list, and that is Sam Williams. Last year, we saw Williams in a rotation with guys like Dante Fowler, where he racked up 4 sacks. And in just his small sample size of pass rushing, you could see the disruption. Williams had an absolutely great quote: "I need 10 sacks. 10 sacks will open up a lot of opportunities for me. Obviously, the team goal is to win a championship, but my personal goal, what I'm working towards, is getting better with my hands, and I need 10 sacks." Could you imagine the Cowboys defense with Micah Parsons getting his average of 13 to 15 sacks, and then Sam Williams on the other side getting 10 sacks, and then DeMarcus Lawrence and your interior guys feeding into that? That defensive line would be absolutely insane. Quarterbacks would not stand a chance. And that's exactly what the Cowboys need from this defense. I know it's early into the process, but the amount of youth mixed with veteran experience and top guys at their positions screams a championship level defense to me. And one way you're going to have a defense that can win you championships is if you have no injuries, which is our final winner from the Cowboys minicamp. There were no major injuries to report that are going to be lingering into training camp. So of the 88 guys on the Cowboys roster right now, all 88 should be primed and healthy and ready to go when we start in July. But unfortunately, everyone can't be a winner. So let's go ahead and hop into our losers of Cowboys minicamp. And we're going to start with Takk McKinley, the defensive end that was drafted in the first round by the Atlanta Falcons. Earlier today, McKinley was released by the Cowboys, and honestly, it's just because the defensive end room is just so stacked right now. The main reason that McKinley was in Dallas was because he had connections to Dan Quinn in Atlanta. But his time in Dallas has come to an end because honestly, the Cowboys just have so much talent in that group right now. And that leads us to another player that the Cowboys cut and is our second loser of minicamp. They released Antonio Callaway, the wide receiver. Another group that isn't extremely strong, but has a ton of guys fighting for those last few roster spots. Callaway did play with the Browns, and I really liked him earlier in his career, but I believe an arrest had something to do with the Cowboys moving on from him, and they signed another wide receiver to take his place. Callaway was one of the guys that I considered sneaking onto the Cowboys 53-man roster, but maybe that was just me living in the past because he was very effective with the Browns when he did play. But one player that was a loser from Cowboys camp that did not get cut was third-round pick cornerback Nahshon Wright. He did not participate at all during Cowboys minicamp. And for a young guy that hasn't gotten a ton of reps, this is not what he needed to happen. He needed to be out there. Other guys like Eric Scott, the Cowboys 5th-round pick, was out there. And to me, Nahshon Wright is on the bubble of this Cowboys 53-man roster. Because right now, it just seems like there's so many positions on the Cowboys that are filled with guys ready to play now. I know that Nahshon Wright was the 3rd-round pick in 2021, but that does not guarantee him a roster spot this season. So he didn't participate for whatever reason, and that is dropping his stock. Hopefully we see him back healthy for training camp so he can compete in that cornerback room. But for right now, his stock is getting low. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all. Bye.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave.